Hey everyone, thanks for stopping back in. I've been off on holidays for a week, so that's why you guys really didn't see any videos. I decided that I wasn't going to film this week. Just hang out with my daughter and my wife, and we went and we did. We had a lot of fun. Every day was a new adventure, and traveling around and just having a great time. That's the reason for this video, friends. Is that's why I bought a new truck. We're constantly putting miles on the 7.3 Power Stroke, and it's getting tight in that cab. As my daughter grows, she needs more space, and there's not a lot of space in the back seat of that truck. So that's kind of what prompted this. But anyways, friends, before we start the video, thank you to everybody that emailed me and said, hey, that's 6.7. You should look for this, this, and this. I really appreciate it, guys. Never owned a Cummins. This is my first one. And I really appreciate all the heads up. It's always appreciated when I get into a truck like this. You know, what am I looking for? But the main question I had from a lot of people was, why did you pick a Cummins? Well, for no other reason than that was the best one that was presented to me. I was looking hard at 6-liter Power Strokes. I really like those trucks. I like the styling. I was looking for a crew cab F250 or F350 6-liter Power Stroke, preferably a Lariat. I wanted heated leather seats this time, friends. I like leather because you can wipe off the mung, and I wanted heated seats because, well, I'm in my 40s now, and I appreciate having a warm back. So that was kind of the parameters. Crew cab, leather, heated seats, and it has to be a diesel. So I looked at a lot of 6-liters. I know what goes wrong with them. I don't think they're as bad as people say they are. A lot of 6-liters still around here. And that's kind of what I was after, friends. I even looked at a couple of 6.4s. Those kind of scare me a little more. 6.4 is the motor after the 6-liter. They only made those for 2 years, which kind of tells you something. But I also looked at a lot of Duramaxes, and a lot of guys I know run Duramaxes. Same. The problem is with the 6-liter and the Duramax, any Duramax for me, friends, is I'm going to be the guy wrenching on it, and I'm just a regular fella, and so I wanted something that would be maybe a little bit easier to repair. They all break, friends. Every diesel truck or truck in general is going to break at one time or another. So I wanted something that I could wrench on fairly easily, and so that kind of left me to the Cummins. Now, the reason why I wasn't looking at Cummins trucks is they command a pretty penny here. Even if they're completely rotten, they're still 9-10 grand in this region. So, or more, friends. A clean Cummins up here is, I saw a last year 5.9 for, the guy wanted 35 grand for it, and it was clean, and it sold already. So that tells you kind of where we're at with that. So, anyhow, friends, I lucked out into this truck. I'll tell you right now, before you watch this video, I feel like I stole this thing. It's not that bad, friends. There's really nothing wrong with this truck other than somebody parked it and they were having tons of electrical issues and probably didn't know how to fix it, and that's why they sold it. So, anyhow, friends, on with the video. Let's have a look at my new rig. I gave her a little bath today, underneath and the body. It's a little dirty, but wanted to get all the debris off this truck so that when I work on it, it'll be cleaner. I'll tell you where I'm at with this truck and what I'm going to do to it in the following weeks. I want you guys to look at auctions as an opportunity to get something that maybe you can't afford retail. We'll talk about that. I want to address some of the comments that are mostly positive. Some negative comments about Dodges and rust. Friends, I live in the snow belt. We salt roads here. Everything rusts here. I don't care if it's a Dodge, Ford, or a Chevy. A new Ford with the aluminum body, I like that. Those don't rust. My buddy's running like a 17 F-150. Not a speck of rust on that. Perhaps my next truck will be an aluminum body 6.7 Ford. That might be the way I go. But until those are at a price that I'm willing to pay, this is life for me. They all rust though. Okay, Fords, the beds sag, cab corners, rockers, doors. Okay, fender arches. Fords rust really bad up here, the ones from this era. Chevys are usually missing half the body. Floors are rusty. And Dodges, some of them are clean, but a lot of them, like this one's been done before. It's got rocker coat on the bottom. You see there's a little bit of rust. But this body's in pretty sound shape. I'm sure there's a little bit of rust behind there, 100%. I'll bet money on it. These things rust. They all do. And if you live here, they're all going to rust. Sometimes I wish I lived in a warm climate, but to me in a warm climate, I wouldn't even have a four-wheel drive. What would be the point? I don't see it. But again, somebody will probably be in the comments and say, what about this, this, and this? And I'll go, oh yeah, I never thought of that. So I try not to make blanket statements. Friends, this world is a giant place and we all have different wants and needs. And well, these things rust. They all do. The lifts. A couple people mentioned the lift. They would never buy a lifted truck. Yes and no. This is not your typical lift. This is an expensive lift. It has four radius arms there, spacers, and these have factory blocks, so lifting the back is not a big deal on these. And this is like many $1,000s of lift. And also, friends, it has Fox shocks on it. This thing rides beautifully, but I'm not a lift guy. I probably would have paid more for this truck if it wasn't lifted because this thing does not fit in my shop. Harder to clean the windshield. It's harder to get in and out of. That's the negatives. The positives here, sometimes there's going to be enough snow on the ground that those steps are literally hitting the snow. Having a truck that's this tall with this kind of rubber on it, 100%, I'll be able to get in and out of my property in winter. Sometimes you can be stranded here in a snowstorm. So that addressed the rust, the lift. You guys were mentioning the grid heater issue. Thank you. I knew about that. Friends, the beautiful thing about the internet is you can become an expert or a keyboard expert on any vehicle real quickly. Type in 2007 Dodge 6.7 Cummins known issues and it'll tell you everything that's wrong or that is super common. And these things have been around almost 20 years now. There's so much information on these trucks. So thank you. The one that's in there looks good, but I will probably buy a BD heater and throw that in there and I'll never have to worry about it again. So yeah, other than that, this truck, it runs perfectly now. I've done some work to it, but we've been on holidays, like I said, and I wanted to spend time with my family. I spend Monday to Friday working all the time. I'm always at work and I work in the shop a lot. And this week I made the decision to spend time with the family and loved every second of it. I'm sad to go back to work. Not because I don't like working, just because I'll miss the family. But anyhow, friends, so this is where I'm at. I agree and disagree with some of what you guys have said, but and again, I wanted a truck this era. I didn't want to go newer because I don't want to pay the premium, friends. This is not going to be my daily driver. I will not be driving this to work every day. I will not be commuting in this. I will sometimes, but this is strictly for towing, hauling, doing yard work around here. This is a farm truck. And also, we want to camp in the future. Once my daughter gets a little bit older, I want to buy a big camper, and this will pull that camper. Let me tell you, friends, I had no idea. I'm driving a 96 7.3 Power Stroke with a 5-speed. That truck pulls. That's my farm truck now. That truck pulls, it hauls. But wow, friends, I had no idea the power that these new diesels have. I've never really driven one. I got out of the trade. I was a mechanic in another lifetime. I got out of the trade just before these came around. And I've driven a juiced up 5.9 before, and I remember that thing was silly. But yeah, these 6.7s are they're powerful. And again, friends, I'm showing you this truck because I want some of you out there, maybe you're looking for a pull-in rig and you see the prices. Truck prices are stupid now, friends. They are here. They are everywhere from what I'm seeing. They're just stupid. And I understand why, because a new truck is 120 grand. This truck new here is 120 to 130,000 dollars Canadian. I don't know what they are in US dollars, but probably high 90s, maybe 100. So again, if you want a nice truck and you can't afford one, or you just can't justify the purchase price, maybe you can afford it, you just don't want to, well, maybe you get a truck like this from auction. And again, friends, I got a really, really fair deal on this truck, knowing that it might need money, and I was prepared to roll the dice. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on it. But again, let's go under the hood and we'll talk about where I've been and where I'm going with this thing. It's been good so far. Okay, and I'll just recap how I bought this truck. I bought this truck, it said not test driven, starts with a boost. Okay, and they gave me a booster pack at the auction, and I spent an hour with this truck, friends. I checked for blow-by, okay? No blow-by on this truck. The transmission fluid was full. Everything seemed okay. That's when I decided. Now I noticed the air conditioner didn't work. Air conditioner didn't work. Every light was on the dash, etc., etc. But again, I figured, and here's the key at auction, if you get it at the right price, you can actually make out okay, but that means you're gonna have to do a bunch of wrenching. Okay, so friends, again, in the last video I said this thing was stuck in limp mode. It had no power, tons of issues. So what I did was I made a new positive cable right here. Okay, I got a new terminal end, and I made this line right here. Okay, I also cleaned up this one. This line goes up and over here and to the other battery. They charge from the passenger side. Your gauge and everything runs off this side. These things are well known. I had a bunch of you Dodge guys say, yeah, that's the thing with those trucks. I bought double-aught welding cable, okay, at Princess Auto. It was like $4 a foot. Bought 8 feet of it. 7 feet, actually, friends. 7 feet is about a foot too much. Okay, and some double-aught ends for that cable, and I made a new charge wire. Well, what did that do? This truck runs beautifully now. It starts beautifully, and more importantly, the transmission shifts. I have test driven this truck. The transmission shifts perfectly. No issues, no codes, no more limp mode. Okay, so I thought the first day I was going to need a transmission in this truck, which would have completely ruined this deal for me. But I still would have been into this truck for less than buying one. So, okay. So, it cost me about 30 bucks to fix that problem. So I'm into this thing for 30 bucks. AC does not work. This is your high side. I checked it. I do have refrigerant in here. But my compressor is not locking. So I either have a pressure switch malfunction. And again, you could find all this stuff out on the internet. I didn't know anything about this truck before I bought it. I either have a pressure switch malfunction. Also, friends, I have an issue with my blend doors. One of them's broken. Again, I knew about Dodge's doing that. That is something that you need a scan tool for if you're going to diagnose it properly. But anyhow, friends, so that's fixed. Let's go into the cab and I'll show you where this truck is at right now. Okay, let's climb in here. Oh, I'll turn this thing on. Where's my key? Here's my key. Oh, it's warm in here today, friends. Fire this thing right up. That's a cold start. Try to get this thing straightened out here. Oh, she's all the way one way. That'll do it. Okay, friends, so I bought this truck and all these lights were on. Now it had a grid heater light and various other lights. Those are all gone now. You can see when these go in limp mode, it goes park, reverse, neutral, drive, fourth. Okay, tow haul works. My manual shift works. Okay, everything works in this truck now. Okay, no issues. Okay, we're not in limp mode anymore. So that's a huge win. That was going to be pricey. What else is wrong with this truck? Oh, also, these are all the things I checked. 4-wheel drive. Okay, 4 high, 4 low. Okay, I've test driven this thing in the yard. That all works perfectly. Now, a couple little things here, friends. My air conditioner does not blow cold, okay? It turns on, and also the blend door, if you're buying one of these trucks, you want to check. Notice, it only blows out of here. Okay? This thing has 5 blend doors in the dash. Almost impossible to figure out what's going on without actually knowing which blend door is which. Now, it's funny, this thing's blowing cool air right now, but the the AC compressor does not lock. So that's something I'm gonna have to delve into. It's 20 Celsius out, so it's probably like, what is that, in the 80s Fahrenheit. And it blows cool, but not cold, while the AC compressor is not locking. I don't know what the issue is with that yet. Now let's delve into these other lights. Now friends, you're gonna need a scan tool if you're buying stuff like this. I'll show you what I have. I picked up this Autel 808K. I think it's an MK808K or S. It's one of those two. And you can pick these up online. 350 US, I think these are, about 500 Canadian. I will say, friends, this changed this truck for me. My other scan tool was old and it just wasn't up to snuff. So I bought this thing, and this thing actually ran a blower door test. It opens and closes all the blower doors. It told me which one was broken. The blend door for up and down is broken in this. I only have one blend door that's broken. I probably will have to remove the dash, which is going to be an afternoon. But again, I knew what I was getting into. Okay, ABS and brake lights are on. I checked that out with the scan tool. My rear wheel speed sensor, the circuit is open, so I got a bad wheel speed sensor or wiring. Again, common problem on these. I also, my cruise arms, but when you hit the button, when you set it, it goes to fast idle like it's supposed to. Okay, that all works, but cruise does not work in this truck. So again, another issue. Funny, the cruise didn't work on my F-250 when I got it. That was a brake light switch. I've done work to that truck too, friends. So they all need something. The question is, what do they need? Okay, that should get rid of these 2 brake lights, and my cruise should work from what I'm reading. Okay, airbag light, another known Dodge issue. There's something called a clock switch in here. Okay, it sends power to the airbag. My clock switch is no good. I have 2 codes for open squib on driver's side and passenger side. Well, those are the only codes I have. That's probably going to mean the clock switch. So I'm going to have to remove this. About 45 minutes to do that. Plug in a new clock switch. Put it all back together. Not a big deal. Couple other little things. These interior lights didn't work. Somebody unplugged them. Oops. I hit the wrong button there, friends. I hit the button for that thing. Okay. These work now. These were broken. The plug was unplugged. I don't know why. They shut off. Everything else works on this truck. It's got the trip computer. I don't think the trip computer works properly because I got these big giant tires on here, but other than that, friends, everything else works on this truck. And heated seats work. These have a factory engine exhaust brake. I don't know if that works yet. Rear window slides open and close like it's supposed to. And passenger side. So okay, so that's where I'm at with this truck, and I'm happy. It needs a few little things. It needs hood supports. I'll put those on, and a couple other little odds and ends, but all in all, friends, seems to be okay. Front end on this truck seems tight. I'm going to investigate it further once I jack this thing up. I'll show you what I'm doing just because it's preventative maintenance. Okay, one thing I'm doing to this truck, friends, I'm putting rotors all the way around. These rotors are super rusty. You can hear them just whining. Okay, new rotors, new pads, all four corners. New tires. These have some cracks in them. They're not horrible, but I'm not living life that way. I'm gonna put tall skinnies on here. 285 75 18s, which is a 35, but a skinny 35. Three reasons. Number one, these ride horrible on gravel. They float too much. Number two, weight. Less weight means more fuel mileage. That's a thing. Number three is cost. The cost of the tall skinnies will be less than replacing these. You can see these things are absolutely massive. I'll probably replace the headlights. If I wasn't keeping this truck, I wouldn't care, but we could use better headlights. And I'll jack this thing up and go over the front end. It seems super tight. It doesn't wander, doesn't feel like it needs alignment. Notice the tires are worn perfectly. They're not cupped anywhere. Also, friends, this thing has a dump pipe right here. I'm getting rid of that. This thing's getting a 4-inch exhaust system that'll exit back there, and a muffler. I am going to put a muffler back on this truck. It's too loud, friends. The drone in the cab of this thing is just unbelievable. A younger me would have put a 5-inch straight pipe, but I'm doing that. I ordered the wheel speed sensor, and a few other little odds and ends parts wise. I have my brakes here. I bought drilled and vented rotors, good for towing. Other couple little small things. I'm not sure about this factory hitch, friends. It seems kind of wincy. We'll see. I'll try and tow with it. I need a lower drop hitch. This is like a 7-inch. I need about an 8 or a 9-inch to tow my trailer. What else, friends? Fifth wheel. I'd like to put a fifth wheel back in this truck. I do have a gooseneck for it, but I'm gonna live fifth wheel life. And really the last thing that I need for me, I may put the headache rack off the Ford on this. I have that super nice headache rack with lights. I kind of like these. These are kind of nice to have, but yeah, I need lights for backing up, friends. You can't see here. Light bar. This thing has airbags on it. I haven't even messed with those yet. If they hold air, then I'm gonna buy a compressor, and I'll run a compressor and a gauge like I have on my other truck. Other than that, friends, this thing's perfect. You can hear it. It runs beautifully. No blow by. Well, there you guys go. If you guys are super interested in this stuff, which I think you are, I could do a video on how to buy stuff from auction. I buy things from auction all the time, friends. It's the only way Friends, for most of my life, I've been a single income family, and that's just how we've been, and it's worked for us because I don't pay retail for anything, friends. I just don't. Equipment is expensive, and having an acreage like we have here, you need a lot of it, and it costs money to run that stuff. So if I can buy anything for pennies on the dollar, I'm going to do it every time. Sometimes it's a little extra effort, but anywhere that I could save money, I'll do it every time. Whether it be my skid steer trailer, this truck, my other truck. My other truck, friends, I drove 8 hours round trip to buy that thing. And that's how I got the deal on it. It was so far away from civilization that nobody was driving out there. I did. So anyhow, friends, I'll keep you guys updated on this thing. We'll do some work to it. We need to do brakes, rear wheel speed sensor. I'll show you that scan tool I bought. It's not an expensive one. It seems like it's going to do everything. It'll even keys to this thing once I get the pin code for it. It'll reprogram modules and sensors and ECMs, and seems to be a good unit so far. I need air conditioning, friends. It's hot out here. Anyhow, friends, thanks for watching. Take her easy. Stay tuned. We're going to dig back into that 441. I got an interesting story about the delay on that. You'll laugh. Something interesting happened, but I'll tell you guys in the next video on that. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Take her easy. See you in a couple days. Later.